Hi, and thank you for watching the training on the Zoom F6 recorder. This video is split into sections, so you can jump ahead to the relevant section you're looking for. The sections will be split into what is 32-bit float, enabling 32-bit float on the Zoom F6, selecting between inputs, line input, mic input, or phantom mic input, setting your levels. Then we're going to be looking at SD card information, how to insert the SD card, how to format it, the headphone and line out settings, and we're also going to look at power options. So let's jump right into it. First things first, let's power on the device using the power button found there. Okay, your device will power on. And the first thing we want to talk about is 32-bit float. What is 32-bit float? 32-bit float is a wide dynamic range format. It's still a WAV format, and it works in most of your editors, Premiere, Resolve, Final Cut, all of that. They do accept 32-bit float. And what makes the Zoom F6 special is that it has dual analog to digital converters, so it basically captures that wide dynamic range, and it's able to write that wide dynamic range to the 32-bit float file, and that enables you to basically pull back on distorted audio in your recording, or even if you set the gain very low, you can lift your audio levels up in post and still not affect the noise floor, still have a very low noise floor. So essentially the Zoom F6 doesn't have gain controls if it's set to the 32-bit float. You can set the levels, and the levels that you set will appear in your editor as the levels you set, but effectively you're not actually changing the gain. That's all that information is written into the 32-bit float file. So that's just out there. There's a lot more information on the internet on 32-bit float and the Zoom F6. That all of that capabilities. A lot of videos that go into that. So you're more than welcome to look that up if you are interested. Okay, let's talk about making sure 32-bit float is enabled on the Zoom F6. Okay, so we want to go into menu, we want to scroll to record, select, and there we can see mode. It's set to 32-bit float. Now you can set it to your normal 24-bit. You can even do 24-bit plus 32-bit float, but why do you even want to be playing around with 24-bit? I'm sure there are use cases, but we're just gonna work with the 32-bit float today. That is why we are using the Zoom F6 mainly for that 32-bit float. Okay, so that's it. We are set up and ready to work with 32-bit float. Okay. All right, another thing that's very important on the Zoom F6 is to set the correct the type of input that you will be using, to set that for that on the channel that that input is plugged into. So let's say, for instance, obviously we have basically three different main inputs. We're going to be looking at your line input. That means you're taking input from something like audio desk, or you are getting an input from a computer or phone. All of those are line levels, and it's very important to set your line, your type of inputs correctly. Otherwise, if you plug in from a desk or a computer and you set your input type to let's say a mic, you are basically gonna not get your benefit of the 32-bit float, because you are just gonna completely overdrive the preamps, and you're still going to get distorted audio. So let's look at setting those inputs correctly. All right, so the button you're going to want to press is that little check mark button, but it's also labeled PFL, and if you keep on pressing it, you are gonna basically move through the settings for all the channels. So there we go, there we are on channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 5, and channel 6. All right, so let's go back to channel 1. You will see the source is labeled as a mic input. Okay, so if you are inputting from a microphone directly, that can be you know, a handheld standard stage mic or podium mic or whatever. You can set your source as a microphone. It can be a cordless mic, it can be a lapel mic, any type of microphone. You can set the input to mic. Okay, if it is something else, we can select that. And let's say, for instance, you are using a boom mic. Most boom mics are condenser mics and they need phantom power. You can put it to mic PH, mic phantom power. It's gonna send phantom power out through the channel, and those condenser mics, studio mics, like I said, boom mics, yeah, that'll work when you select the source as a mic phantom power. Otherwise, you're not going to pick up any levels at all. All right, so our third option is the line option, that you can set for, like I said, computers, any source from a sound desk, and so forth. Okay, the others I'm not going to go through, they are not really that common. Okay, so we are happy with mic. Just hit menu to go back. On track 1, that source is a mic. So like I said, you can hit the PFL button and then you can set up track 2 for you. So at the moment, track 3 is set up as a line, track 4 is a mic, track 5 is a mic, and track 6 is a mic with phantom power. All right, happy about that. Let's move on to setting our levels. All right, so the input, channel 1 has been set to a mic, so let's plug in a microphone into channel 1. Let's just switch off all the channels, and there we go. We have a lapel mic plugged into channel 1. All right, now to activate the channel and to set the level, you just turn the knob and you hear a click and it will activate it, and just keep pushing the volume until you see the desired levels. Okay, I am just quickly gonna insert a SD card as well so I can demonstrate something else. Okay, so like I said, we're working with 32-bit floats, so the levels you set isn't really that important, but it's still a good idea not to be sloppish and just kind of set it to an acceptable level. Like if the meters run about halfway up to about -6, you're golden. There's no way you're going to be able to clip it, and you'll know when you pull it into your editor, you are going to be greeted with nice levels already. You're not going to have to pull it down or push it or whatever. Just going to make your workflow easier. Okay, so I just want you to see this as well. You can also record a left and right channel. You can activate that in the settings. We're not going to go into that, but it does show you the left and right mix, and then there's also a line mix that you can see there. Now I just want you to be aware of this when setting levels. So we're not recording at the moment, and we can set our input level. As soon as you hit record, let's just get a nice level there. There's a nice level. As soon as you hit record, your input level is basically locked. I can turn it down and you'll see that that level will stay the same. basically what happens, you'll see is I'm only affecting my left and right and my line level. So as soon as you're in record mode, all the functionality of the fader basically changes, and you are just affecting what it's sending, how much volume it's sending to the line out, the headphones, and the left and right. That's all you're affecting there. So just to be aware of that. So when you hit stop, you will affect the level on the channel as well. Okay, so when you hit record, you are basically just mixing your left and right, whatever you're hearing through the headphones and the line out and so forth. Okay, great stuff. That covers setting our levels. Okay, let's quickly chat about SD card. So the SD card slot is found here in the back. Just open the slot, then insert your SD card. Now if you hit the menu button, you can scroll down, I think it's to system, yeah, SD card there, and you can format the SD card there. Okay, if you ever get an SD card from us, if it's not on a rental, if you're actually doing a job for us and I did include an SD card, please don't format it. I always I try to not to format the sound SD cards too often. It serves as a backup. Just so you know, if you get an SD card from us, please don't just format it. It will already be formatted for you if it needs to be formatted. Okay, that is SD cards. Okay, let's just talk about headphone and line out. So let me just get rid of this input. So your headphone output is this first output here, and your headphone volume can be found there. The output behind it is actually time code out, and we're not going to go into that, so just know that's not a headphone or a line out. Your line out is found on the other side. Okay, if you want to use this line out cable, this line out output to patch into your camera, so you can record audio directly on your camera as well, please make sure you use this cable. I'm not actually sure what you call it, but it's a cable actually designed to take you'll see it's labeled your line level. It goes into the line out, and then it's labeled camera on this one. So what it does, it converts your line level output to a mic level output for the camera. Otherwise you might get distortion or just bad sound quality on the camera. So this cable is especially for that. If you're going from here into a desk, you're fine, or here into a line in on a computer, you're fine. It's specifically designed for a camera that takes a microphone level in. This converts the line level to mic level. Okay, that's it for headphone and line out, and then it's basically just power options. Let me just switch off before we go into that. Okay, so at the bottom you got your little battery holder, and it takes 4 AA batteries, and you can put that in there. But you can also, if I can find one, here we go, you can also power it using a Sony NP series battery. And the nice thing is, if you have batteries in here and the NP battery, it becomes hot swappable. Let me show you. If we just switch it on, it'll actually show you where it's getting power from. So there you can see it's getting power from the AA batteries, and when I put the Sony battery in, it'll see the AA disappear. So it's getting power from the NPF battery, and I can remove it and it stays on. So that's a great way. And then you also have USB-C. If you want to power it via power bank or mains, you can also do that. Okay, thank you for watching. Enjoy using the Zoom F6.